Doesn't the idea of making a donor pay child support seem crazy? Can you imagine being asked to pay for a dinner you didn't eat? That's kind of like asking sperm donors to pay for child support. Today, let's unravel this puzzling scenario. Picture this: John, a generous guy, decides to donate his sperm to help those who dream of becoming parents but face challenges. It's a noble act parallel to donating blood to save lives. John moves on after a sperm donation, feeling good about helping others start their families. Now, fast forward a few years, and he's hit with a lawsuit demanding child support for a child born from his donation. Imagine the shock and the wave of consequences that follow. This isn't just John's story, though. There are hundreds of thousands of sperm donors whose benevolent actions have resulted in children being born to wanting parents. So are they responsible for child support? Can they be sued? Well, if they are responsible and do have to pay child support, well, then what rights do they have as a father? There have in fact been a number of cases where men who became biological fathers through their donation were ordered to pay child support. However, before you get too concerned and out of order about this, just know that these cases are probably considered pretty far outside the norm, and the child support paying sperm donors usually have a close to the normal relationship with the children and the family. So there may be some level of justification there for supporting a child who the father has a very involved relationship with. If the bio father just provided the sperm donation and never knew who received it and never knew of the child, that's a much harder sell to make to a court to get the court to impose child support against that donor. However, in 2014, a judge in Topeka, Kansas ruled that a sperm donor owed thousands of dollars in back child support for a child 4 years after the child's conception. And you want some good news? That case was overturned. In a lot of states, take Florida for instance, it has been ruled that a person who provides sperm for a woman to conceive a child by artificial insemination is not a parent, and thus cannot be held responsible for child support. The Supreme Court of Georgia has ruled that, in Georgia, biological paternity does not create a responsibility to provide support in cases of artificial insemination. But what could happen to a donor if the laws aren't clear and protective? Doesn't the idea of making a donor pay child support seem crazy? That's because fundamentally, sperm donation is an act of giving done under the assumption that the act ends at the donation without further obligation or rights. That assumption is the cornerstone for assisted reproductive technologies, enabling countless individuals and couples to fulfill their dreams of parenthood. So, should donors like John be on the hook for child support? Absolutely not. If we start treating donors as parents with financial responsibilities, we're not just misinterpreting their goodwill, but we're also setting a dangerous precedent. This would probably deter future donors, and it raises complex questions about the donor rights. If they're considered financially responsible, does that then grant them custody rights too? And if so, are we ready to redefine parenthood itself? So the essence here is about intent and agreement. Donations are made with a clear understanding to help, not to parent. Legal frameworks in many places recognize this, ensuring that donors are not liable for child support, provided that the donation is made through licensed clinics. It safeguards the donor's intent and the recipient's rights to parent without unforeseen claims. But here's a thought for those pushing for donor responsibilities. If we're considering financial obligations, shouldn't we also talk about parental rights? See, it's a slippery slope. Granting custody rights to donors could unravel the very fabric of what it means to donate, transforming an act of kindness into a legal battleground that would not be good. So, to those men in Georgia who are thinking about donating, or those curious about the intricacies of sperm donation, remember, the law in Georgia has your back, as it does in most other states, and it's always wise to investigate these things and understand the legalities in your state. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to click subscribe, like, follow, and turn on the alerts so that you'll get notified when we post our newest videos. Please share these videos and leave us some comments, ask us questions, and tell us what other topics you'd like for me to talk about. Join our Facebook group at Georgia Divorce and Custody for even more information. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on the next video.